Close your eyes for a second. Picture the last hour of a summer evening. The sky is doing that thing where it can't decide between amber, coral, and deep violet. You're somewhere warm, on a rooftop, a terrace, maybe the edge of a beach, and the air smells like ripe fruit and something quietly floral, wrapped in the last warmth of the day. That's not poetry. That is literally what Coach Dream Sunset smells like on your skin. And here's what I want you to stick around for, because this is the thing that genuinely surprised me about this fragrance. The dry down on this is not what you expect from a 48-pound high street flanker. Not even close. I'll get to that, but trust me, it earns its moment. Coach. New York born, 1941. Started as a leather goods workshop in a Manhattan loft, 6 artisans, handcrafted wallets and bags. That heritage of craftsmanship, of tactile quality, of American optimism, it threads through everything they do, including their fragrances. Now Coach entered the fragrance world relatively late, but when they did, they leaned hard into that New York meets the open road aesthetic. Dreams, the original, launched in 2021 and was their love letter to the American West, wide skies, freedom, that almost cinematic sense of space. Dream Sunset is the follow-up, the golden hour version of that story. And Coach did something smart here. Rather than just slapping a new name on a slightly tweaked juice, they genuinely shifted the mood. Sunset feels warmer, softer, more intimate than the original. It's the difference between midday light and late afternoon light, same landscape, completely different emotion. Coach fragrances tend to sit in that interesting middle ground, accessible enough for a broad audience, but constructed with enough care that fragrance enthusiasts don't dismiss them. That's harder to achieve than it sounds. A lot of houses get that wrong in both directions. Coach, more often than not, gets it right. Let's talk about the bottle because this one genuinely earns its place on a shelf. The Dream Sunset comes in Coach's signature rounded, slightly curved glass. There's a softness to the silhouette that feels feminine without being fussy. The juice itself is this beautiful warm amber peach color, and I know some people think tinted juice is just a marketing trick, but here it actually tells you something accurate about what's inside. It looks like bottled sunset. That's not an accident. The cap is a smooth matte finish, and the spray mechanism has a satisfying weight to it, no cheap plastic wobble, no uneven mist. The Coach logo is clean and understated on the front. The overall effect is premium without being ostentatious. This is a bottle you'd leave on your dressing table without embarrassment. It communicates exactly what it is, a warm, dreamy, modern femininity with a bit of American ease to it. For £48, the presentation is genuinely solid. You're not getting a designer glass stopper and hand-etched detailing, but you are getting something that looks and feels cohesive. The packaging and the scent are telling the same story, and that matters more than people give it credit for. Right. First spray. This is where it either grabs you or loses you, and with Dream Sunset, it grabs you. The opening is fruity, immediately, unapologetically fruity, but it's not the synthetic candy fruit you might fear from a mass-market flanker. This is warmer than that. There's a ripeness to it, like peach and a whisper of something citrus-adjacent, almost like the skin of a nectarine rather than a glass of peach juice. It's juicy but with texture. With dimension. Projection on the opening spray is confident. This is not a shy fragrance. In the first 15 minutes, you will be noticed. Not in an aggressive, room-clearing way, but in a heads-turning pleasantly kind of way. It announces itself with enthusiasm but not desperation. The Sillage in those first 20 minutes is genuinely good. It travels. What I appreciate about the top notes is that they don't smell cheap. Fruity openings can go wrong so fast. They can smell like air freshener, like a teenager's body spray, like a supermarket candle. This doesn't. It smells like a considered fragrance that happens to open brightly. There's a quality to the materials that elevates it past the obvious. As the top notes settle, and this happens around the 20 to 30 minute mark, the heart starts to emerge, and this is where Dream Sunset genuinely finds its character. The fruit softens and a floral quality begins to appear. It's gentle, not a full rose or jasmine blast, but something more diffuse and powdery floral. It wraps around the remaining fruitiness like a warm arm around a shoulder. The overall effect is that the fragrance becomes rounder, more intimate, less projected. There's also a warmth that starts to build from underneath. Something slightly creamy, almost like a very gentle, understated vanilla or musk beginning to push through. And this is where the fragrance starts to reward patience. Because in the heart phase, Dream Sunset transitions from a bright, attention-grabbing opener into something more wearable, more personal, more, and I use this word deliberately, cozy. I tested this on a warmish day and the heat of skin amplified the creamy floral quality beautifully. On a cold day, it might read slightly flatter in this phase, something to bear in mind depending on when you're planning to wear it. The unexpected turn for me here was how seamlessly it transitions. A lot of fragrances have a jarring heart phase, a moment where you think, what happened? With Dream Sunset, it's a smooth, natural evolution. Like watching that sky actually change color rather than cutting abruptly to a different scene. Okay. This is the bit I teased at the start. The dry down. After 3 to 4 hours, what you're left with on skin is genuinely lovely. The fruit has mostly departed. The florals have softened to almost a murmur. What remains is this warm, slightly sweet, skin-close base. There's a muskiness to it that feels clean but not sterile, and there's a depth there that I genuinely did not expect at this price point. It dries down to something that smells almost bespoke, like a fragrance that has adapted to your skin and made itself at home there. It becomes a second skin scent in the best possible way. Not a showstopper at this stage, but deeply pleasant, deeply wearable, and the kind of thing where someone standing close to you will lean in and say, "What is that?" The dry down is warmer, creamier, softer than the opening. And honestly, it's the best phase of this fragrance. The opening is the marketing. The dry down is the truth. And the truth is rather good. Honest numbers. On skin, I'm getting a solid 6 to 7 hours before it genuinely fades to near nothing. That's respectable for this category and this price point. On clothes, and I tested this on fabric, you're looking at considerably longer. I could detect it on a cotton top at the 12-hour mark, though it's very skin close by then. Sillage, as I mentioned, is strongest in the first hour. There's a 3 to 4 foot radius of presence in that opening phase. As it moves into the heart and base, it becomes progressively more intimate, a 1 to 2 foot scent, something that people near you will catch rather than the whole room. This is not a fragrance designed to clear a room or dominate a space. It's designed for personal presence, for close encounters, for moments of warmth. That's a choice, not a flaw. If you need projection that fills a venue, look elsewhere. If you want something that makes you deeply pleasant to be near, this delivers. Best time to wear it, I'd say this peaks in the afternoon into evening. Morning wear feels slightly at odds with its character. Late afternoon, it aligns with the light and warmth perfectly. Evening out, absolutely. It's a social fragrance, a warm weather fragrance, a fragrance for closeness. Let me paint a few portraits for you. If you're the type who dresses effortlessly, linen in summer, not trying too hard but always looking put together, and you want a fragrance that matches that ease, Dream Sunset is absolutely your speed. It's confident without being loud. Stylish without demanding attention. If you're someone transitioning from your first designer fragrance into something with a bit more personality and warmth, maybe you've been wearing something clean and fresh but you want to explore something with more depth, this is an excellent stepping stone. It's approachable enough not to overwhelm, complex enough to teach you something about what you like. If you love the idea of warm, sunset hour fragrances, if you've ever been drawn to something like a Chloe or a lighter Garland and wanted to try the aesthetic without the price shock, Dream Sunset sits in that neighborhood at a considerably friendlier price. Now, who should not wear this? If you're a projection maximalist, if you want to walk into a room and have your fragrance arrive 3 seconds before you do, this will frustrate you. It's not built for that. If you dislike any fruitiness in your fragrance, even the warm, ripe kind, the opening will put you off before you ever reach that gorgeous dry down. And if you're chasing something truly niche, something with complexity that rivals a Maison Margiela or a Le Labo, manage your expectations. This is a beautiful, well-made mainstream fragrance. It's not trying to be niche, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. £48 for 90 millilitres. That works out at approximately 53 pence per milliliter. For an Eau de Parfum from a recognized fashion house, that is genuinely solid value. You're not paying through the nose for the name. Coach sits in that democratic luxury space where the price point reflects the product rather than a heritage tax. Are you paying for the liquid or the name? Honestly, a bit of both, as you always are with any branded fragrance. But the liquid here is good enough to justify its share of the cost. I've smelled more disappointing fragrances at twice this price. If you want something that scratches a similar itch for a bit less money, have a look at the original Coach Dreams, same DNA, slightly fresher, and it sometimes turns up at a reduced price. But Dream Sunset is the more interesting, warmer, more evolved version. The sunset, if you will, is worth watching. I'd score Dream Sunset a 7.5 out of 10. Here's why. The dry down is an 8. The longevity is a solid 7. The opening, while pleasant, is the most conventional part of the fragrance. It's the expected fruity-floral opener that doesn't fully prepare you for the loveliness that follows. The score reflects a fragrance that genuinely delivers where it matters, but doesn't quite push into must-have territory for fragrance enthusiasts. For casual wearers, for gift buyers, for anyone who wants reliable, beautiful quality at a fair price, it's closer to a 9. You can pick up the Coach Dream Sunset Eau de Parfum 90 ml spray at p-11.com. I'll drop the direct link below. They're a reliable UK stockist, good pricing, and they carry the full 90 ml bottle, which is the one worth getting for the value. Coach Dream Sunset is a genuinely lovely fragrance that rewards patience. It opens brightly and pleasantly, but its real character reveals itself slowly, warmly, in the hours that follow, and that dry down alone justifies the purchase. It won't change your fragrance world, but it will reliably make your day smell better, and that's an underrated quality. Here's what I want to know from you. If you've worn Dream Sunset, did the dry down earn its place in your collection, or did you find something in a similar warm fruity floral space that outperformed it at a comparable or lower price? Leave that in the comments. I genuinely read them and I'm always looking for something new to test. If honest, no-nonsense fragrance reviews are what you're looking for, subscribe. I post every week and I never recommend something I wouldn't wear myself.